Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. I have combined all the videos in the coming soon page design series into this single long video so that it'll be easier for you to follow. I hope you'll find this useful. In this video, we are basically going to design this coming soon page with a countdown timer from scratch using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. And in the end, I will also show you how to add this design to your Blogger and your WordPress websites. And I will also leave the link of the source code in the description of this video. So let's get started. In this video, we will start designing this coming soon page from scratch using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Now I'll split this video into several parts. So in the first part, we will just design this using HTML and CSS. And then in the next video, I'll show you how to make it responsive. So we will have different versions for our design. So if I just decrease the width of this window, we can see there are different versions for our design. And then lastly, this is the mobile version. So we will design all of this from scratch using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Alright, so here I have opened up a folder called Coming Soon in VS Code. And I also have this folder called Images over here, and in that we have these images which we're going to use in our project. And let's start by creating an HTML file. So I'll just click on New File, and we'll just create a new file with the name of index.html. And we also need to have a CSS file, so let's create a new file and we'll just name it style.css. And then we also need to have a JavaScript file, so I'll just create a JavaScript file over here. We'll just name it main.js. And let's start with the index.html file. Now in VS Code, you have this shortcut where you can just press exclamation and press tab. And you'll have this basic HTML5 boilerplate code. And here I'll just link our CSS file, so I'll just type link and press tab. And in the href, I'll just type style.css. And here in the body, I'll just link our JavaScript file, so I'll just type script:/src and press tab. And here in the src, I'll just type main.js. Alright, now if we go back to our design, we can see that we are using a font called Montserrat. So let's get that font. So here I'm in fonts.google.com and let's search for Montserrat. And let's click on this font. And we need to get the regular version and also the bold version. So let's go back and let's select the regular version from here. So I'll just click on select this style. And let's scroll down and let's look for the bold version. I think we'll just use this black version, so let's select this. And I'll just copy this link from here. And let's go back, and here in the HTML, in the head tag, I'll just add the link. Alright, now let's start with the markup. Now first of all, we're going to create a container division to hold everything. So let's create a division with the class of myContainer. And in that we need to have a left part for the image and a right part for all this content. So let's create a division with the class of left. Now in this left division, we need to add the image. So I'll just type img and press tab. And here in the src, I'll just type images/ and we have an image called cloak.png. Right now let's create the right part. So I'll just type .right over here. And here in the right part, we need to have an h1. So let's create an h1. And here I'll just type coming soon. And then we'll create a paragraph for this. So I'll just copy this text. And I'll just create a paragraph and paste it over here. Right now the next thing we need to do is we need to create this counter. So for that, let's create a division with the class of counter. And in the counter division, we need to have different divisions for these different sections. So for each of these divisions, let's create a division with the class of unit container. Now in the unit container, we'll just have this days and also this value. So for that, let's create a division with the class of unit. And here I'll just type days. And then we'll create a division with the class of value. And here I'll just type this value over here. So let's type 5. So that's it with the first unit container. Now we need to create 3 more of these. So I'll just copy this and paste it 3 more times. And for the next one, we need to have hours and minute and second. So let's change these over here. So I'll just type HRS. And here I'll just type minute. And then he will type seconds. And I'll just add some values over here. Alright, now the last thing we need to do is add these social media icons. So let's create a division for that. We'll create a division with the class of social. And here we'll create anchor tags. And here in the href, you can just add the link of your social media account. For now, I'll just type hash over here. And the first image that we need to have is of Twitter. So I'll just type img. And in the src, I'll just type images/twitterlogo.png. And I'll just copy this anchor tag and paste it 2 more times. And for the next one, we need to have the image of Facebook logo. So here just type Facebook, and then we need to have Twitch. And I think that's it with our HTML. So let's open this in our browser. So here I have this extension called Live Server installed on VS Code. So you can just search for Live Server and install it in VS Code. And once you do that, you can just right click over here in the HTML file and then click on Open with Live Server. And here we can see our design is being displayed over here in the browser. We have the image over here and also all the other content. Right now let's style this using CSS. So let's go back and let's go to style.css, and let's start by adding some styles to the body. So I'll just type body, and first of all we'll just remove all the margins that we have with our browser. So I'll just type margin 0, and now we can see we don't have any margins. And we'll also remove all the default padding. So I'll just type padding 0, and let's set the font family to Montserrat sans serif, and I'll also set the background color to black. So this is how our design looks right now. Right now let's go back and let's style the my container division. Now the first thing we will do is we will set the position of this left part, which is the image, to absolute, so that it will have a fixed position. So let's go back and let's type my container left, and we'll set the position to absolute, or we can also set the position to fixed. And I'll set the height of the left division to 100 viewport height, which is 100% height of the browser window. And now if we go back, we can see that there's no other content at the bottom, because now this image is on top of all the other content. So let's add a higher z index to the right division. So let's go back, and if we go to the HTML, we can see that we have a left division and also a right division. So now let's target the right division. So here I'll just type my container right, and we'll set the z index to 200. Now since we have set a position of fixed to this left division, we also need to add some position to this right. So I just type position relative, and now we can see all the content is displayed over here. Now let's go back, and for the left division I will also set a display of flex and align items to the center, so that the image will always be in the center even if we decrease the size of the image. And here we will also add overflow of hidden to this left division, so that even if the height of the image is larger than 100% height of the browser window, it won't be displayed, so we won't have this scroll bar over here on the right. Alright, now let's go back, and now let's style the right division. And here for the right division we will also add a margin left. So I'll just type margin left, and we will set a margin left of 36%. Right now all the text content is at the top, so we'll bring it to the center. So for that, let's add a display of flex to the container division. So our container division is my container, and here I'll just type height of 100 viewport height, width of 100%, and display of flex and align items to the center. So this will bring all the elements to the center. Right now let's style the heading. So let's type my container h1, and let's set a font size of 80 pixels, and let's set the color of the text to EDE 580, and we'll also make it uppercase. So I'll just type text transform uppercase. And now let's style the paragraph. So let's type my container p, font size of 24 pixels, and the color of the text to white, and we'll also add a line height of 170%, and we'll also remove the margin from the paragraph and also the heading. So let's type margin top of 0, and even for the heading I'll just type margin 0. Now let's style these social media icons. So let's type my container social, and we'll give it a margin left of 50 pixels, and we'll also add some margin between these icons. So let's go back and let's type my container social A, and first of all let's set the display to inline block so that the margin and the padding can be applied correctly, and we will set text decoration to none so that we don't have the underlines for the anchor tags, and we'll also set a margin right of 50 pixels, and we'll also set a margin top. So if we go back to our design, we can see that there is some margin between the counter and the social media icons. So let's type margin top, and we'll just set it to 70 pixels. Right now the last thing we need to style is the counter. So let's type my container counter, and in that we have a division with the class of unit container, and let's add a background color of white for this. And now we can see all the unit containers are one below the other. Now we need to have them one next to the other, so for that let's go to the container division. So I'll just type my container counter, and we'll set the display to flex, and now we can see all the elements are one next to the other. Alright, now let's keep styling this unit container. So here we'll just have a padding of 8 pixels top and bottom and 32 pixels left and right, and we'll also set a margin right. So I'll just type margin right, and we'll set it to 30 pixels, and we'll also add a border radius of 24 pixels. Now let's style the unit and the value. So here we'll just type my container. So if we go back to the HTML, we can see we have a division with the class of unit and a division with the class of value. So let's target them. So here just type counter unit container value, and for the value we will have a font size of 60 pixels, and we'll set the font weight to 900, and we'll set the color of the text to E71828. And now let's style the unit. So here I'll just type my container counter unit container unit, and let's set the font size to 24 pixels and the font weight to 900, and we'll set the text transform to uppercase, and we'll also set the color of the text to 1D3557, and we'll also bring it to the center. So I'll just type text align center. Now for the paragraph we will have some margin bottom so that we will have some space between the counter and the paragraph. So let's go to the paragraph, and here I'll just type margin bottom, and let's set it to 60 pixels. And now the last thing we need to do is we need to set the same width to all of these unit containers. Right now what happens is that when we have the number 1, we have less width for this number, and for other numbers we have larger width. So that's why the overall width of the unit container changes. So for that we can just add one line of CSS. So let's go back to the value, and here we need to add one line of CSS which is font variant numeric, and we need to set it to tabular nums. And now if you go back, we can see we have the same width for all the numbers. So that's why we have consistent width for the unit containers. Right, so that's basically it with the desktop version of our coming soon page. Now first of all, I'll just right click over here and go to inspect, and you can just click on this button called toggle device toolbar, and you will have this view where you can switch to different screen sizes. So just click on this option and go to responsive, and now you can go ahead and increase or decrease the width of your screen. Right, now let's start with the responsiveness. So let's go back to our CSS. Now before getting started with our responsive design, I just want to make a little change in our CSS. So I just noticed that the background color of this image and the background color of the body doesn't match correctly. So the background color of the image is not exactly black. So if we go back to our CSS, we can see that we have given a background color of black to the body. So I'll just change this color to 060000. Right now it's the correct color. Right now let's decrease the width of the screen, and let's see what is the first breakpoint that we need to have. So here we can see when we are less than 1100 pixels, we need to make some changes in the design. By the way, you can see the width over here. So let's add our first breakpoint at 1100 pixels and less. So let's go back to our CSS, and let's scroll down, and let's create a media query. So let's type at media, and here in the parentheses we'll just type max width of 1100 pixels. And the first thing we will do is we will change the font size of this heading. So let's type my container h1, and we'll set the font size to 70 pixels. And now we can see we have a smaller font size for our heading, and if we increase the width of the screen, we can see we have a higher font size. Alright, the next thing we will do is we will change the font size of the paragraph. So let's go back, and here we'll just type my container p, and we'll set the font size to 20 pixels, and that looks alright. Now let's change the size of these units and values. So let's go back, and let's type my container counter unit container value, And for the value, we will set a font size of 40 pixels. And let's also change the font size of the unit. So I'll just type my container counter unit container unit, and we'll change the font size to 18 pixels. And then we'll also change the size of these images. So let's go back, and the images are inside the social division. So here we can see we have this division with the class of social. So let's target that. I'll just type my container social img, and we'll set the height to 48 pixels. And let's see what is the margin between these icons. So if we go back to our CSS and let's scroll up, and here we can see for the margin right we have 50 pixels. So let's reduce that a little bit. So here I'll just type my container social a, and we'll set the margin right to 30 pixels. Alright, that looks alright. Right, now the last thing we will do for this screen size is we will change the height of this image over here on the left. So let's go back, and let's type my container left img, and we'll set a height of 550 pixels, and that looks pretty alright. So if we go back to the other screen, we can see we have a different design, and if we decrease the screen width, we have a different design. Right, now let's go ahead and check out the next breakpoint that we need. So we will have the next breakpoint at less than 960 pixels. So here we can see this is the width. So let's create a new media query. So let's go over here and let's type at media max width of 960 pixels. Now for the screen size, we will set the font size of the heading to 60 pixels, and we'll also change the font size of the paragraph to 18. Now the next thing we will do is we will bring everything to the center. So let's go back, and here we'll just type my container right, because here we can see in the HTML we have all the content inside the right division. Now for the right division, we will set the margin left to 0. So if you scroll up, we can see that we have set a margin left of 36% in the desktop version. So let's reset the margin left over here. So I'll just type margin left of 0, and now let's text align everything to the center. So I'll just type text align center, and it is still not centered correctly, so we have to set a width of 100% for the right division. So right now the width is not 100%. So if I just add a background color over here, we can see that this is the width of the right division. So let's set the width to 100%. And now we can see that the elements are in the center, but we need to center this counter. So let's do that. Now for the counter, we have set a display of flex. So if you scroll up, here we can see for the counter we have set a display of flex. So now we need to center this. So let's scroll down and let's add some styles to the counter. So I'll just type my container counter, and here we'll just type justify content to center, and now we can see that everything looks alright. Now let's also move this image to the left a little bit. So the image is inside the left division. So here we can see we have the left division. So let's add some styles for that. So I'll just type my container left, and we'll set a left value of negative 100 pixels. So now we can see that the image has moved to the left a little bit. So now this design looks alright for the screen size. Right, now let's find the next breakpoint that we need to have. So we'll have the next breakpoint at 640 pixels. So this is 640 pixels. Now this version is for smartphones. So let's go back and let's add a media query. I'll just type at media, and I'll just type max width of 640 pixels. Now the first thing we will do over here is that we will just remove this image. So I'll just type my container and left. I'll just set the display to none. And now let's decrease the font size of this h1. So I'll just type my container h1, and we'll set the font size to 48 pixels, and we'll also set the margin bottom to 20 pixels. And for the social media icons, we will set a height of 36 pixels. So I'll just type my container social img, and we'll set a height of 36 pixels. Now we'll also add a padding for the my container division. So let's type my container and we'll set a padding of 0 for top and bottom and 30 pixels for left and right. And now we can see we have the padding. Right now let's style this counter. Now for the counter we will just join all these different sections together so that a lot of space is not wasted. So let's go back and let's type my container counter unit container, and we'll set the background color to unset, and we'll also set a margin of 0, and we'll also change the padding to 8 pixels top and bottom and 20 pixels left and right. And now here we can see we have a lot of width for our design than expected. Now the problem is that we had added this padding to the my container. So here we can see for the my container we have added a padding of 30 pixels. So it is being added to our width. Now to stop this from happening, you have to add a line of code. So let's scroll up, and here we will just select everything. So I just type asterisk, and here we need to add a line of CSS, box sizing and border box. And now we can see we don't have extra width. So what this line of CSS does is that it will include the padding inside the width of our element. Right, so now let's keep styling our counter. I'll just change the font size and the color of these units and values. So here I'll just type my container counter unit container unit, and for the unit we'll set a font size of 16 pixels, and we'll set the color of the text to EDE580, and for the value we'll just type my container counter unit container value, and we will set the font size to 30 pixels, and we'll set the color of the text to white. So that's it with our mobile version. So this is how it will look on a mobile device, and if we increase the width, this is how it will look on a tab, and this is how it will look on a larger device, and then this is how it will look on a desktop. So that's basically it with the responsive version of our design. Now before writing our main code, I'm going to show you some basics of date in JavaScript. So for that we'll just open the console. So I'll just right click over here and go to inspect, and you can just click on this console tab over here. Alright, so here's the console over here on the right, and on the left we have this main.js file. I'll just type console.log, and if I just type hi over here, we can see that it's displayed over here in the console because we have linked our main.js file over here in the index.html file. So here we can see we have added this line of code. Alright, now first of all I'm going to show you how to display the current date. So here I'll just create a variable. I'll just name it now, and then you have to set it to new and then type date over here, and make sure that you have this date capitalized. And now let's print this now variable over here in the console. So here I'll just type now, and I'll just set it equal to this variable now. And here we can see it displays the current date, time, and all of those things over here. We also have the time zone displayed over here. So this is how you can display the current date in JavaScript. Now in the same way we can create different dates. So here I'll just type let, and I'll just call it launch date, and we'll set it equal to new date. And here in parentheses you can type any date you want. So I'll just type October, and I'll just type 10/2021, and we'll just set the time to 0000 and 00. And now we will display this launch date over here in the console. So I'll just type launch date, and here we'll just add the variable launch date. And here we can see we have the date displayed over here. We have October 10, 2021, and we have the time. Now what we need to do in our counter is that we need to get the difference or the gap between two dates. So for that we're going to use a method called getTime. So let's type .getTime over here. And now if I save this, we can see we have this long number over here. Now this number is basically milliseconds that has passed since January 1, 1970. So from January 1, 1970, 000 to October 10, 2021, 000, we have these many milliseconds passed. So now what we can do is we can get the milliseconds passed from January 1, 1970 till the current time, which is new date over here. And then we can get the milliseconds passed from January 1, 1970 till October 10, 2021. And then we can just get the difference between these two values, and we will have the difference in milliseconds. And then it's just a matter of converting the milliseconds to seconds, minutes, hours, and days. So let me just type dot get time over here as well. And now let's create a variable called gap, and we'll just get the difference between the 2 milliseconds. So I'll just type launch date minus now, and we'll just print the value over here. So I'll just type gap, and here we'll just type gap. And now we can see this is the difference between the 2 dates in milliseconds. Now let's convert this to seconds, hours, minutes, and days. So for that, let's create some variables over here. So I'll just type const second, and 1 second is 1000 milliseconds. So I'll just type 1000 over here. And then let's create a constant called minute, and 1 minute is second times 60. And let's create a constant for hour, and 1 hour is minute times 60. So 60 minutes is 1 hour. And then lastly we have day, and 1 day is hour times 24. Now first of all, let me show you how to convert this gap into days. So let's create a constant, and I'll just name it d for day. And here we'll just type gap divided by day. So here we can see we have already set the day as 24 hours. Now let's display the day inside our console. So I'll just type days, and I'll just type d over here. And now we can see it says 6 days, and we have this decimal value over here. Now we can remove that using a function called math.floor, and I'll just include this inside the parentheses. And now we can see we have 6 days remaining. Now in the same way we can get the hour as well. So if I just type const h equals math.floor, and here if you just type gap divided by hour, and if I just display it in the console, so I just type console.log hours, and I'll just type h over here. And if I save this, we can see that there's 144 displayed over here. Now that's the number of hours inside the gap. Now we don't want to have the number of hours inside the gap. We want to have the number of hours which is left over after this value over here. So for that we have to use a modulus operator. So you have to type gap and then add this operator. And then here instead of hour you have to type day. And then we have to divide this whole thing with hour. So let's add parentheses over here. And here I'll just type divided by hour. Now what we are doing over here is that we are getting the remainder of this division, gap divided by day. That's why we are using this modulus operator. And after getting the remainder, we are dividing it with hour. And now let's save this. And now we can see that we are getting the remaining hours, and everything is working alright. Now in the same way we can get the minute and the second. So for the minute you can just type const m equals math.floor, and here you have to type gap modulo, and here you have to type hour, and then divide this whole thing with minute. And if I just console.log it over here, minutes and m, and now we can see that the minutes are displayed over here. Now let's add this to our design. So I'll just close this console. Now from this design we need to access these values from here so that we can manipulate them using JavaScript. So let's go back to our code and let's go to the HTML file, and here we can see we have these units and values, and here for the values we will add one more class so that we can access them using JavaScript. So I'll just type day over here for days, and here we'll just type hour, and then we have minute, and then we have second. Right now let's reference this in our JavaScript. So let's save this and let's go back, and here let's create constant and let's name it day value, and we'll just set it equal to document.querySelector, and here we'll just type counter unit container, and we have added a class of day. Now in the same way we need to reference the other elements as well. So I'll just type const hour value equals document.querySelector counter unit container hour, and then we have const minute value equals document.querySelector counter unit container minute, and then lastly we have const second value equals document.querySelector counter unit container and second. Right now let's create a function to update all the counters. So I'll just delete this console log from here, and let's create a function with the name of update counter. And now in this function we have to copy these 2 lines of code. So I'll just copy these 2 lines and I'll just paste them over here. So every time this function runs, we're going to calculate the current time and we're going to calculate the gap between the launch date and the current time. And then we're going to add the values to these HTML elements. So here we just type day value dot inner HTML equals, and here we can see we have already written the code for displaying the day. So I'll just copy this and I'll just paste it over here, and we'll just do the same with all the other values. So I just type our value dot inner HTML, and we'll set that equal to this code over here. So I'll just copy this. This is for the hour, and I'll just paste it over here. And then we have the minute value dot inner HTML equals, and I'll just copy this and I'll just paste it over here. And then we have second value dot inner HTML, and we haven't written the code for that, so I'll just copy this and paste it down here, and I'll just change this to minute and this to second. Now we can just simply delete these lines of code. And now let's call this function over here. So I'll just type update counter, and I'll just change this value to, let's say, 15 October. And let's go back to our website, and here we can see we have 10 days, 23 hours and 32 minutes and 3 seconds. And if I just refresh this page, we have the different values. So we can see that everything is working all right. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to add a timer so that every second this function should run. But before that, let's fix one thing over here. So if I just refresh this, we can see that there is 8 seconds displayed over here. So whenever we have just one number over here, it should automatically add a 0 on the left. So for that, let's go back to our JavaScript, and we can add a simple trick over here, which is we can just add 0 over here and just type plus over here, and then we can use a JavaScript function called slice. So I'll just type slice, and here we just type -2. Now what this does is that it will add a 0 automatically to the left of any number. So for example, if we have 23, it will add a 0 on the left. But when we use this slice function and when we type -2 over here, it will just display the last two numbers. So even if we have the 0, it will just display 23. But for example, if we have just one number over here, and if we add this 0 over here on the left, and then we use the slice function, then it will display the last two numbers and it will include the 0. So this line of code should display a 0 on the left if we have just one number. So I just add the same slice function to all the other values. So I'll just type 0 plus, and here we'll just close the parenthesis and type slice -2, and I'll just copy this and paste it down here and down here, and I'll just copy this and paste it over here and here. And now let's just decrease this to October, let's say October 7. And now let's go back, and here we can see we have 0 displayed over here on the left when we have just one number, and when we had two numbers, 0 is not being displayed. So let's go back. Now one more thing I'll do over here is that when we pass the launch date, I'll just remove the counter and we'll just add a different message over here in this paragraph. So let's do that. So here I'll just use an if condition, and I'll just check whether the gap is less than 0. And if the gap is less than 0, then we have to hide the counter. So I'll just reference this counter from here. So we have this class counter over here. So I'll just go back, and here we'll just type const counter equals document.querySelector counter, and here we'll just type counter.style.display, and we'll just set it to none. And here we can see for this paragraph we have this message, hi, we will be back with some awesome features in. So we'll just change this message as well. So let's go back and let's access that over here. So I'll just type const subheading equals document.querySelector, and it is inside my container, and in that we have the right division, and in that we have the paragraph. And here I'll just type subheading dot inner HTML equals, and we'll just add some message over here. So I'll just type hi, please stay tuned for some awesome features. Alright, now let's add a timer and let's call this function every second. So for that we're going to use set interval, and for the interval we'll just type 1000 because it is calculated in milliseconds. So 1000 milliseconds is 1 second. And here we'll just type the name of the function. So the name of the function is update counter. And now our countdown timer should work. So let's go back to our design, and here we can see every second we have this time changing over here. And let's go back and let's just add a date that has already passed. So I'll just type 01, And if I just save this and if I go back, we can see that the counter is not being displayed and we have a different message over here. And if I just go back and if I just add some other values, I just type, let's say 20. And if I just save this and if I go back, we can see that the timer is working alright. So that's basically how you make this timer work using JavaScript. Now this is the Blogger website where we're going to add our design. So let's get started. First of all, let's go to the dashboard of our Blogger website. Now we need to have the design for all the pages in our website. So whenever someone goes to any of the pages in our website, we should have the coming soon page displayed. So it shouldn't be displayed to a specific post or a specific page. It should be displayed whenever someone goes to any page of our website. So for that we have to edit the theme. So you have to go over here to theme and then click on this arrow and go to edit HTML. Now this is the theme code. So everything you see over here in our website is a result of whatever code we have over here. So now what we need to do is we need to remove all this design from this theme code and we need to add the design of the coming soon page. Now the first thing you have to do is take a backup of this theme code. So just select everything by pressing Ctrl A and just copy everything from here and just paste it and save it somewhere in your system, because we're going to make changes to our theme code and we're going to remove almost everything from this theme code. And then we're going to add our coming soon page design. And now once the launch date of your website approaches, you can go ahead and copy and paste the code from wherever you have saved it and paste it back over here and then save it. Alright, once you have taken the backup of your theme code, you can just go ahead and continue with the customization. Now the first thing you have to do is delete everything inside the C data. So it is inside the B skin. So just select everything from after this open square brackets. So I'll just start selecting from here and let's go to the end of the C data. So let's scroll down. And this is where the C data ends, because here you can see we also have the end of the B skin. So let's select till here and now I'll just delete it. So here we can see now we have this empty C data. Alright, once you've done that, you can just go ahead and select this B template skin from here and delete that as well. So I'll just fold this and I'll just delete this from here. And we can also delete the default markups from here. So I'll just fold this and I'll just delete this. And then also delete all of this code inside the head tag. So here we can see this is the end of the head tag. So now we can see in our head tag we have these 3 lines of code and also the B skin. Right now the next thing we need to do is delete everything inside the body. So I'll just select everything from here and let's scroll down. And let's select everything till the end of the body and delete it. Alright, now the first thing we will do is add the CSS of our design. So inside our C data, I'll just make some space over here. And let's go back to our source code. And I'll just go to style.css and I'll just copy everything from here and paste the CSS over here. And then we also need to add the link of the font. So let's go back and let's go to the HTML file. And here we can see this is the link of the font. So I'll just copy this and I'll just paste it over here in the head tag. And I'll just bring everything inside a single line. And now since this is an XML file, you have to make sure that wherever you have the ampersand symbol, you have to replace it with ampersand AMP semicolon. Right now let's add the HTML. So let's scroll down and let's go inside the body tag. And here in the body tag, I'll just copy the HTML. So let's go back to our source code and I'll just copy everything inside the body. So I'll just start from this division with the class of my container and copy it till here. And let's copy and paste it inside our body tag. And now here we will add the JavaScript. So I'll just create a script tag. And now let's go back to our source code and I'll just copy the JavaScript from here and I'll just paste it inside the script tag. And now we have to make some more changes in our theme code. But before that, let's go ahead and click on save. And here we can see we have this error on line 266. So here we have line 266 and here we have this less than symbol. Now since we are using XML for this theme code, you have to make sure that wherever you have the less than symbol, you need to replace it with ampersand LT semicolon. And now let's click on save. And here we can see we have one more issue, that it says we did not find any section in your theme. A theme must have at least one B section tag. So let's create a B section tag over here. So I'll just go to the top. You can add it anywhere inside the body. So I'll just type B section and I'll just give it a class of main. and I'll just close it over here. Alright, now let's click on save. And now we can see our theme has been successfully updated. Now the last thing we need to do is we need to add the images. So here we can see we have added some images in our design. We have the image of a clock and also some other images over here like the Twitter logo, the Facebook logo and the Twitch logo. But right now in our Blogger website we don't have any folder called images, and we also don't have any image with a name twitterlogo.png. So we have to upload this image somewhere and get the link and add it over here. Now you can upload this image wherever you want and just get the link and paste it over here. But I'll just upload the image inside a page of our website. So let's go back and let's go to pages and let's create a new page over here. So I'll just click on new page, and here we'll just upload the images. So let's click on insert image and click on upload from computer, and let's click on choose files, and here are all the images we need. So let's select everything and click on open, and let's select all the images and click on select, and here we'll just select original size and click on OK. And here we can see we have the links of all the images. So if you go back to the compose view, we can see that here we have all the images, and the first image is of the clock, and then we have Facebook, and then we have Twitch and Twitter. So let's copy the links of these images. So here let's go back and let's go to the HTML view, and this is the link of the first image. So let's copy this, and I have opened the theme code inside a new tab. So let's go over here and let's scroll down. So here we have the link for the clock image. So I'll just delete this and paste our updated link. And next we have the Facebook image. So let's go back and let's copy the second link. So this is the second link. So I'll just copy this and let's paste it over here instead of the Facebook link. And then we have, I think it is Twitch. So let's go back. So here we have Twitch and then we have Twitter. So let's go back to the HTML view, and this is the third link. So I'll just copy this and let's paste it in place of the Twitch link. And lastly we have the Twitter link. So this is the link. I'll just copy this and I'll just paste it over here in place of the Twitter image. And I think that's it with our design. So let's go ahead and click on save. And let's go back to our website and let's refresh this page. And now here we can see we have the coming soon page displayed over here with the exact design that we wanted. And once you get to the launch date of your website, you can go ahead and change all this code back to the original code. And if you scroll down, we can see that in our JavaScript we have this launch date. You can go ahead and change this date to whatever you need, and the timer will change according to the date over here. So that's basically how you add a custom coming soon page to your Blogger website. So first of all, let's go to the dashboard of our WordPress website. And first of all, let me show you the theme that I'm using. So if I go to appearance and go to themes, I'm using this theme that comes by default with WordPress called 2021. And if I just view the website, this is how our website looks right now. So we're going to add our coming soon page to this website. Now the first thing you have to do is access the files of your theme. So here I'm using local by Flywheel to host my WordPress website locally. So I can just right click over here on this website and click on show folder, and here we can see our main folder, and if I go inside that, we have to go to app and then public and then WP content, and in that we have themes, and in that we have the 2021 theme. So these are all the files of our theme. So you have to access these files over here. Now for a WordPress website hosted online, you can go to the file manager that has been provided to you by your hosting provider, and most likely you will have access to the cPanel where you can find a file manager, and you can access all these files over there. Alright, now let's create a new folder over here, and I'll just name this folder coming soon. And in this we will have just an HTML file. So I'll just open this in VS Code, and here I'll just create an HTML file. So I'll just type index.html, and here I'll just create a basic h1 tag, and I'll just type testing, and let's see whether it works. So let's minimize this, and now let's go to the theme folder, and you have to make some changes in the functions.php file. So let's open this in a code editor. I'll just open this in Sublime Text. So here we can see this is the functions.php file, and let's go to the end, and we will add some code over here. So here we'll create a function, and I'll just name this function coming soon, we'll just add a prefix over here so that it doesn't match with any other function name in the theme. So let's type lb coming soon. And in this function, we need to require the index.html file that we just created. So let's type require once. And here in double quotes, we'll just type coming soon, which is the name of the folder, / index.html. So this is the file that we need to display. And let's add an action. So I'll just type add_action. And here we need to type get header as the first argument. And for the second argument, we have to type the name of the function. So I'll just type lb_coming soon. And let's save it. And let's go back to our website. And let's visit the site. And here we can see testing is being displayed over here. And then we have all the other content. So the index.html file from the coming soon page is displayed over here. Now when we have this file displayed over here, we don't want anything else to be displayed over here. So let's go back and we need to add one more line of code. So below this you have to type die. Now when we call the die function, it will stop executing the next lines of code. So now let's save this and let's go back to our website and let's refresh this page. And now here we can see that testing is displayed over here and we don't have any other content displayed. Right now let's copy and paste the content inside our coming soon design to this coming soon folder. So I'll just delete this index.html file from here. And here we can see I have copied and pasted all the files and folders inside our coming soon design into the coming soon folder. Now you can find the link of the source code in the description of this video. So you can just download the source code and extract it and just copy and paste the files and folders over here. Alright, now let's go back and let's refresh our page. And here we can see that some of the content of our coming soon design are displayed over here. Now what we have to do is we have to copy and paste all the styles from this style.css file into this HTML file and also the JavaScript into this HTML file. So let's go to our VS Code and here we can see all these files. So let's go to the style.css file and I'll just copy everything from here. And let's go back to our index.html file and here in the head section I'll just create a style tag and I'll just paste all the CSS over here. Now in the same way we need to add the JavaScript as well. So let's scroll down and let's just delete this src from here, and here inside the script tag we will add the JavaScript. So let's go to our main.js file and I'll just copy everything from here and I'll just paste it over here inside the script tag. Right now we can delete these two files from here. So let's go back to our coming soon folder and I'll just delete these two files from here. And let's go back to our website and let's refresh this page. And now here we can see we have the coming soon design displayed over here, but we don't have the images being displayed over here. So for that we have to use a WordPress specific function in PHP. So for that we have to turn our HTML file into a PHP file. So let's right click over here and let's click on rename and I'll just change the HTML to PHP. And let's also go back and let's go to our functions.php file. Now here instead of index.html we have to type index.php. And let's go back and now let's add the links of the images. So if we scroll down we can see that we have the links as images / the image name. Now WordPress cannot directly find the images folder, so we have to first of all give it the path of the theme. So here you have to go into the PHP mode. So I'll just type PHP over here and here we will use a function called get theme file URI, and in parentheses you can just copy and paste this link from here. So I'll just copy this from here and paste it inside the parentheses, and here after that we can just close out of the PHP mode. And now this function returns the main theme folder, and in that we have the images folder and in that we have this image right here. Now this function just returns the path, it doesn't print it over here, so we have to type echo over here as well. And here we also need to add coming soon because it is inside the coming soon folder. Right now let's copy this from here and let's paste it in all the other images. So I'll just copy this and let's scroll down and here we have the Twitter image. So I'll just cut this from here and paste it, and here I'll just type Twitter logo. And here we have the Facebook logo, so I'll just cut this and paste it over here, and here I'll just type Facebook logo. And lastly here we have the Twitch logo, and I'll just type Twitch logo. Right now the images should be displayed in our coming soon page. So let's go back and let's go to our website and refresh this page. And now we can see that the images are displayed over here. So everything is working alright. Now if you go back to our code, and if you scroll down, here we can see we have the launch date. You can go ahead and change this to whatever you want, and the timer will be adjusted according to the date over here. Right now let me show you one more thing that can be useful for you. So if you go back to your website, here we can see that we are logged into our WordPress website. So when we are logged in, we need to see the actual website, because we need to customize our website and we need to test it. So when we test our website, we will see this coming soon page. So what we will do is we will add an if condition, and if you are logged into your WordPress website, we will not display the coming soon page, and if you are not logged into your WordPress website, then the coming soon page will be displayed. So let's go back to our functions.php file, and here we will add an if condition. So I'll just type if, and here I'll just type exclamation is user logged in. So this is a built-in function in WordPress. Now what this function does is that it will return whether the user is logged in or not. So here we are checking whether the user is not logged in. So if the user is not logged in, then we have to display the coming soon page, or else it will display the regular pages. Alright, now let's save this and let's go back to our website, and let's open our website. So I'll just click on visit site, and here we can see that our regular pages are displayed over here. But if I open this website in an incognito window, so I'll just right click over here and click on open link in incognito window. Now here we can see that the coming soon page is displayed over here. So whenever someone visits your page, this page will be displayed, but for you the regular pages will be displayed over here, so that you can go ahead and customize your website. So that's basically how you can add a coming soon page to your WordPress website without using any plugin. So that's it for this video. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comments below. And if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.